Mayokun joins me now on Skype. Mayokun, good morning. It's good to have you join me right now. Now, talk to us basically. This COVID-19 impact on the economy, if we have to narrow down on small-scale businesses, how more impact or implication is this going to have on small-scale businesses?
Well, thank you. Good morning, Mike. I think if you look at it, small business in Nigeria is everything. I take it to manufacturing, for instance. 90% of manufacturing jobs in Nigeria is done at small and medium scale levels. So imagine the impact if those people are out of jobs. Somebody said earlier that the problem with COVID-19 has not arrived yet. It is going to arrive after we have found a way about it. The present problem we have to solve now is to have an exit strategy. I saw the fact that China brought some people yesterday. The next thing I heard was that $1.5 billion worth of supplies came with them. $1.5 billion is not a small money. That's technically like 500 billion naira. So we are paying them. Hopefully, that's the way it looks to me. It's something going out of our economy. But at the end of the day, we have to look at how are we impacting on the local businesses. Businesses in Nigeria, ordinarily, even before COVID-19, have a hard time existing, talk less of thriving. Now you are here now, the shops are locked. It's only those who have food, and even those who have supply chain disruption. Some of them depend on raw materials, even from abroad. So if this corona issue comes along, and we cannot do much about their businesses, 2-3 months down the line, they will barely be able to stand up. That becomes their problem for them. Another angle to look at it is, okay, the personnel that are working for these people. Ordinarily, small businesses struggle to pay salaries. Now they are not here. Who pays their salary? I can authoritatively tell you that 90% of companies are not paying salaries again, especially the small ones. What do they do? In other clients, what happens is, during this period, it is the government that takes over payment of salaries. They introduce some other incentives to make sure that people have hope in their government and in the economy that, okay, when all this is over, then definitely we'll be able to bounce back.
All right. One other issue is the inadequate data that is available for to capture small-scale businesses, those that are the informal sector, and we have the mass of that in the country. They make up the majority of those who are actually doing one thing or the other. Some of them don't have records. Government sometimes don't have interface with them. How will they survive this pandemic?
Well, I wouldn't blame the individual business. It is the onus. The onus is on government to take the data. Somehow they find a way of collecting taxes from the people. So you must have your database. You cannot expect world institutions like WHO and World Bank to be giving you data that you will use in your own domestic economy. Why do we have statisticians in the country? I read statistics and economics for crying out loud. There are people like me all over the place. I'm sure maybe a bulk of them, maybe they are working in France, maybe they are doing most things that are not relevant to whatever they studied in school. So engage them, get the data, employ them. People don't see the impact, the import of data on day-to-day living. Government more so. I find it disheartening sometimes when I hear that government is looking for data. They don't even have data. But when they want to do elections, they know how to get their data. At the end of the day, look for this data, get central banks, the Federal Office of Statistics, do survey. At the very least, if you ask all these telcos that are doing networks in the country, they have data. If you ask banks, they have data. If you ask schools, they will give you data. Synchronize this data and ask a national database for crying out loud. It should not be in this state that when a child is born in Nigeria, there is no data for that. In America, when Obama was born about 60-something years ago, it was recorded, it was in the newspaper. If America could be doing that as far back as 150 years ago, what stops us from having a data for every child that is born into this country? The same thing with SNCs. They may not keep good books, but it's the onus of government to make sure that you look for them, they pay their tax, and when times like this come, you give it back to them so that there will be trust in government and other trust so that next time when you ask for taxes, they will be willing and ready to pay.
Right. Some time ago, the Central Bank of Nigeria released a few trillions of money into naira into the economy as a way of cushioning the economy to ensure that the economy keeps afloat. How much of that is changing the narrative?
Well, it's a good development on the part of central bank, but where we are coming from goes back to the same place. If there is no data, if there is no synchronization, if there is no adequate information, how do I know how to access central bank grants or funds as it were? How do I know? Things like this, when maybe I watch too much CNN and BBC, when something like this comes on the fray, the first thing you see is government will tell you, go to our website, go and check how your company can benefit. Then simplify the procedures so that it's not Akulian again. They shouldn't, you go to banks, I can tell you, go to all these Nigerian banks, tell them, okay, I'm an SME, I have this problem, staying after during this period. If there's any change in whatever they will ask you to bring, maybe 2%. How does that change the narrative? It's going to be difficult. The money is there, but how do we access it? At the end of the day, if the money is there from January to October, some other people who have prior knowledge or private, who are private to the details of that, will look for a way to make sure they short circuit the system and get the money out. Government has to put its foot down, beam searchlight on its procedures, and look at it in a way that is centered and centric towards those who actually need it in the economy. It's for the betterment of everybody.
All right. COVID-19 has brought new dynamics into the mix of how businesses will be run. A lot of people have seen gloom. Others are seeing great days ahead, as some will put it. But give or take, how well off or worse off will COVID-19 create a situation for businesses in Nigeria?
Thank you, Mike. The basic truth is that the world has changed, whether we admit it or not. The extent of change is what we have to be grappling with in the coming years and times ahead. The nature of work has changed, the nature of business has changed, the nature of health, the nature of manufacturing on different scales. Now, more and more people have to be working from home, even after this COVID-19, because it is the new normal. It is going to be the new normal. In other economies, it's always been encouraged. They have prepared for it. That's where you see 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. All these things will impact on how people work in advanced economies, and we can't be left behind. So the earlier we start preparing for things like this, the better for us. In Google, for instance, there's a day off for everybody. Do whatever you like, report. Even I know some companies in Nigeria, I don't want to mention names, that they are encouraged to work from home. As long as you are billing in your hours, your output is known, whatever it is you are doing, at some point you check in and people know that you are contributing to the company, they pay your salary. So things have to change. What government can do now is to encourage the change, administer the change, and make sure that they help small and medium scale businesses to make sure that the transition to that change is easy for them.
What strengths do you think we have as an economy that small businesses, big businesses can lean on and take advantage of to ensure that businesses continue? And certainly we know that there's going to be new businesses are going to spring up after all of this as well. What is that strength that we can leverage on?
Well, for one, we can lean on the resilience of our people, our adaptation to change. Then the youthful population that we have, it is easier when you are young to change and to adapt. So 70% of our population is comprised of young people. So we can train them in the new emerging dynamics. We can prepare for the world. The only country that is smiling to the bank during this period is China. And the reason is that they have become the manufacturing hub of the world. You can outsource a lot of things, but there are some things you don't outsource. Capitalism, now we are finding out that, okay, it is not be all and do all. There are limits to capitalism. I'm sure if you ask US, for instance, in the next couple of years, they will domesticate manufacturing of at least some critical segments of their company. So we can be the new hub. We can be the new normal. We can prepare ahead. our food security has to be intact. For instance, our manufacturing of health essentials, we just use the money that we don't have to buy things that ordinarily we didn't plan for in the beginning of the year. The $1.5 billion that we gave to China recently to buy some critical and essential equipment on the issue of COVID-19, if those things have been manufactured here, people will still be happy because it means that some people are going to get employed in the process. So these are the things we have to look at. Both small companies, middle scale company, big ones, everybody has to now know how to utilize technology to drive production and to drive productivity in our offices.
All right. Some time ago, we used to have, Nigeria used to have multiple exchange rates, close to about 10 different exchange rates. But there is a call to unify all of those into a single exchange rate so that there can be a direction towards things. How will that change anything?
Well, it's part of the general narrative. If you have a unified exchange rate, it makes sure that those who profit from the differences in the exchange rate, they will be taken out of business. You can't have an official exchange rate for some segment of the people and those who are well connected, and a black market exchange rate, as it were, for the rest of the people. There was something in the news yesterday about this Raw, the Super Eagles coach. They offered to pay him in naira, and he's rejecting it. He has the right to, because at the end of the day, if there is no macroeconomic stability, if there is no stability in our exchange rate over time, is going to impact on our earnings as a people. So anybody doing business in Nigeria will want to denominate their business in dollars, which affects us negatively because it means that people don't trust our currency. So exchange rate should be unified as it were, and it should follow market indices. In our culture and our dispositions, there is a lot of awareness. We joke about a lot of things, but even within the jokes, the thing spreads like wildfire among our populace. So people know about it. People are conscious because, but at the end of the day, they try to marry consciousness of COVID-19 with the determination to survive. You know, the government has been trying, I would say. They did a lot of good by relaxing the curfew a bit to allow some economic activities, even though it is not much, because there are some people, no matter what you do, they live on a day-to-day basis. So you have to find a meeting point between allowing them to trade maybe in foodstuffs or be able to buy, even if it's on credit, and ensuring that there's some social distancing involved whenever they are doing that. So I think I see a bit of success. Time will tell how much of it we can relax further or maybe further tighten.
Now, the government is looking at various palliatives to help businesses, to help Nigerians. Now, from the proposal of two months of free electricity to the issue of conditions for cash transfers, distribution of monies, and other things they're looking forward to. How much of this can help, or how far can this go in helping to cushion the effect and the impact of COVID-19 on the people?
Well, I don't think Nigeria is alone in trying to look for palliatives and look for things that they can do to help the small businesses and to help individuals. I'll give you an example. In France, there's what you call a solidarity fund, up to about 2 billion euros for self-employed people, because we can talk about SMEs and there are other people that work on their own, maybe the mechanics that are not even registered. So while you are talking of SMEs, you should also talk about self-employed people. There are different things that are being done. In Egypt, for instance, ATM withdrawal for this period is free. In some other climes, you see them talking about, okay, stabilization fund. You see them talking about, okay, insurance. You see them talking about, okay, for the next 2 or 3 months, these are things you can do to make sure that, you know, the business is tied over this period. In Costa Rica, they have done a business development fund that the primary purpose for it is to help businesses navigate this period and survive it. So if you are going to change the modus operandi of your business, for instance, you are going to change the hub of your business so that people can work from home. Government will help you to navigate and help you to assist, maybe at no cost to you, so that at the end of the day, if you are able to survive and employ people and sustain the business, it is all in the interest of the government and the economy. So we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to gain in the process.
All right. We have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Mike Wilo, for your time on the program.